So we're an innovator now, and one of the things I wanted to show you as far as innovation is our Element series. We've gotten a lot of publicity. It's been in tons of magazines. It's all over the place. And what Elements is basically the ability for the designer, the homeowner, you as the showroom consultant, to be able to create something that's different. So if we go right here on the website and we just click on this element that's scrolling through, we get this configurator. And what the configurator allows us to do is you'll see all the finishes that are available here, and we just are going to pick one of those finishes. Okay, so once we pick the finish for the faucet, then we move down and we pick the finish for what we call the cover, which is, you know, most of us look at that and go, okay, that's the handle or the knob. So here we would pick that finish as well, and we can pick any finish we want. I'm trying not to make an ugly faucet. So so now we have our finish here. And then we have what we call the insert, and we have two styles of inserts. So you can see in the image, hopefully, that as it changes. And so I like I like this one better than this one, so we're going to use this. And then I can leave it that color that came up, or finish that came up, or I can change it to a different finish. I can have it the same one as the faucet if I want, or I can have any other finish that I want to choose that's available here. Okay, so that's kind of different, so we'll use that one, just so we can see the contrast. So now we have configured a widespread faucet, and what you will see here is that on the top left corner is it actually created a part number for you. So if you order that part number and get a price on that part number, you would just send that over to Watermark and they would price that out for you. It's as simple as that. As we move forward, you as a dealer would be able to price this out moving forward, but we're not quite there yet. If somebody wants to do the same thing in a wall mount faucet, they just click down here where it says view this design, and so now there's a wall mount faucet option. And then we also have the shower option. So this just gives you the thermostatic valve and thermostatic shower set with a volume control. Okay, and so then we have some other designs that are down here that, you know, or we just kind of put together to give you inspiration and so on and so forth. So you can download this image, and then you can also, they'll be able to send this to a dealer to get pricing. So if this is a homeowner or a designer. So this is pretty cool. With all of these options, what you have is you have a total of about 368,000 combinations by changing finishes, these two inserts, the different cover finishes. You have tons and tons of, you know, more than we'll ever make, but you have all those different options. So it's a pretty cool product that we're very excited about, and some of you already have it on display in your showrooms, and others don't, but hopefully will in the coming year. While we're on this page, and it says right here, it says wall-mounted mini thermostatic. So we're going to cover this in a minute in a PowerPoint presentation, but just so you know, we launched this just recently, a mini thermostatic valve, and what that means is that the size of it is much smaller, so that in typical application, this discussion back here needs to be much bigger to hide the valve. So what we've done by going with this mini thermostatic valve is we've been able to just create this just a little bit bigger than the actual handle. And then that gives us a very clean, minimal look inside the shower, which is what we have seen a trend toward. People want to clean it up, not be as busy and not be as bulky. So that's something new that we have. It's in the new price book, and we'll also just kind of cover it briefly, but I wanted to give you a picture of it here of how it looks. If in the elements, it's the only way it comes. But if somebody wanted a different thermostat in any other product, it would be available to them as well. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. So 2018, just wanted to give you kind of some of the things that Watermark's doing. Everybody who's sold Watermark for more than about 5 minutes knows that our biggest issue has been lead times. People have complained about them. People have steered away from Watermark because, you know, it takes too long. I walk into a showroom and say, you know, hey, I wanted to, you know, show you something new about Watermark or present Watermark for the first time, and they're like, oh, it takes too long to get it. So we understand that. We've done a really, really good job this year of cutting those lead times way down. Beginning of 2017, if you wanted a Lanvital and gunmetal, it was about 17 weeks. Today we're shipping that between 10 and 12. Now we're always going to give you a little bit longer lead time than that just to make sure we're okay, but we're doing really, really well. And then moving into 2018, we're going to see those lead times come down even further. So one of the things that we've done, or several of the things that we've done, is one is we've added a new CNC machine. It's a 5-axis machine, so it means that you can create parts without having to move them, physically move them. The machine does all the work. So we added that. We added new spray booths, so these would be like for your powder-coated finishes. So we added 2 additional spray booths and an oven. So this is the oven here. There's now, I think, 3 of those in the factory, so a lot of product can be moved around. We also added a new plating line. This is the new one. You can see it's new because it's nice and white. It doesn't look like these over here, which it won't be long. It'll look like these over here because that's just what happens. And then we're in the process of, when we close for the Christmas holiday, we're going to add another plating line. So we'll have, I think it's either 4 or 5 total plating lines in the factory. So this just, again, gets us producing product much faster. Plating, finishing and plating, or preparation and plating. Finishing is not as big a deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not as big as getting it ready to finish and getting it through finishing. So we've done a lot of work to increase our capacity, which is really going to help us moving into next year. This is our new PVD machine that we installed this last year. These photos were taken during install, so these racks actually aren't there. But this machine is up and running now, and we've been producing product on it for about the last 6 weeks. We're also adding more square footage. This is the current factory right here, and we're going to add 5,000 more feet right across the alley. This will be more raw product storage, so we can take it from here and bring it when you come right in this big door. There's a big door right here. This is where production starts and begins to run through the factory like this, and finished product then comes out back here. So it's a pretty cool operation. Another thing, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but one of the things we're doing is we're, by bringing the collections down to 24 collections, what we will be able to do is take our assemblers and give 12 collections. So you'll have one group of assemblers, and an assembly team is, you know, in that group of the first 12, there's probably 10 or 12 people in there that they're just assembling product all day. Then you'll have another 10 or 12 people that will be assembling the other 12. This way what happens is whenever something hits their desk for them to assemble, it's not like today we saw the Beverly, and then I may not see the Beverly again for 6 months because somebody else got it on one of the other assemblers. So by creating, these are the 12 that go with this team and these are the 12 that go with this team, they'll see the product more often and they'll automatically know all the nuances of how to assemble this. So this is really going to help us as well. And this came from the success we saw with having only one team doing a lawn batal and how we were able to increase. We reduced the number of finishes from 36 to 24. So 24 series now, 24 finishes. If you notice right here, all these finishes that are in the old 2016 price book are still available. They're just custom finishes now. And when we look at the new price book in a second, all of those finishes will get priced at category E. Okay, so real simple. You can still get any of them. You just price it differently. If you guys remember, if you've seen it before, where we do a ton of the chrome or polished nickel, even sometimes of a Brooklyn faucet, and it's got the big red handle on top of it. It kind of looks like a fire hydrant. The Brooklyn handle will still be available in red with no upcharge, so you'll just price it the same way. So if you're using a polished chrome faucet, you can add the red handle and it'll still be priced at polished chrome. So that's going to be pretty good as well. We went over the elements already. These are the different covers that we saw on there. These are not very good photos. Currently, we buy these, but probably in 2018, we will actually start manufacturing these in our factory. And then that will allow us also to add more finishes. This is another product that will be coming this year, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. These are the two inserts that we talked about, the bridge and the scallop. Nothing different here. This is the web page we went to already. This is just telling us all about the things that we already went through. We talked about the mini thermostatic valve. So as you can see here, we were able to make this footprint much smaller using that thermostatic valve than the so the question everybody always has, yes, it is only 7.5 gallons per minute. But what you'll find is that anytime that you're going to use this, you're probably just going to have two functions. You're going to have a regular shower head and you're going to have a hand shower. And between the two of those, they won't use 7.5 gallons a minute. So it's not a big deal if you're doing, the car wash, which we're seeing very few. Very is not the right word. We're seeing a lot fewer of those today. So gallons per minute can come down because we don't need 16 gallons a minute because we're not running 12 gallons of water through at a time. So if you do have those, then the mini thermostatic valve is not going to work for you. So you'd have to go back to one of our standard thermostatic valves. But in that minimal look, the 7.5 gallons is plenty. And that's also at 45 PSI. So if we move this to 60 PSI, this will go up to about 9 gallons a minute. And then here's another photo. So this is kind of what showers are beginning to look like in other parts of the world. Maybe not so much yet in our part of the world, but I think some of you guys would agree you're seeing more and more of just real clean. A lot of them eliminate this slide bar and they just have an elbow to mount the hand shower on. So this is kind of a good example here. 7 1/4 inches is our standard, and now it's down to 3 1/2. So much clean look. This is a new. We're not going to get real technical. This is a new mud guard that we're putting on all the valves that we send out now. So this stays on till after the tile guy's done, and then when you get ready to put the trim on, this gets cut back to flush with the wall. To keep any trash, debris, mud, from getting down in there. We don't do a lot of wall mount toilets in our part of the world. For those of you who do and you want to dress up the, if you're doing Toto or Kohler or whatever, that you want to change the actuator valve. This works with Geberit wall carrier, so you can, or not actuator valve, but actuator plate. Sorry, you can buy these from Watermark to fit, and it will be in the same finish. We also are adding a couple other, so we added this traditional one, which has a little step downs here, and then the button's slightly raised to give it a little more traditional look. And then we also added one for a remote actuator, and you'll see how that kind of looks in this picture here. So much cleaner, again, look, and actually this can be mounted anywhere. It doesn't matter where you mount it. Another thing that you'll see in the new price book, and some of you have already received price books, they've either been mailed to you, I've brought them by, or you will be getting them in the next couple of weeks. And one of the things that you will see is we added some standard lengths for wall mount labs. We had a standard length, and what we ended up finding was that we were doing a lot of custom sizes. And so we looked at our custom sizes and said, okay, how many times have we replicated this? We figured that out and realized we needed to add these two sizes here. So now you have 3 sizes instead of 1 size, and it doesn't fall into custom, so it doesn't create a longer lead time or a higher price point. So we did that in several different faucet lines, as you'll see in the book, even in the contemporary and the traditional. Same thing here. Again, there's different sizes that are available now. New hand shower mount with a built-in shutoff. Nothing real dazzling or crazy good here. I don't know if anybody on this call has sold our Todd kitchen faucet, but if you have one of the things we got back, not really complaint, but feedback is this part right here, the hand spray part, was the outside cover of it was a plastic type material. And so it gets finished to look like the rest of the faucet. But because you have 2 different materials, they never finish exactly the same. So in certain whites or certain finishes, when you see it a certain way, you can tell there's a slight variation in finish. So to avoid that, we have now made this piece a brass piece. So this is all brass faucet now, even the pull-out sprayer. New shower hoses, I don't get real excited about those. Bidet sets, again, not a huge item for us in our world. We did add some new tub fillers, and you'll see those in the price book, just giving you kind of an overview here of styles. Wall mount lotion dispensers, we had that in a couple of series before. Now it's in a lot more of the series that you'll see in the book when you get those. Very nice toilet brush holder. And you can also buy extra toilet brushes